But I knew that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And so I didn't even know if you had to be a Christian for that to work. But I did know that that was a scripture. And I said, if you will say this scripture, God will save you from that girl. And so I didn't know if she would do it. And, I was just telling her the story. Well, she did it. And it was probably maybe 2 days later, she comes back to me and she says, Jenni, it worked.
Welcome to the Ignite with Barry McGuire podcast, where Barry's book and passion for spreading God's love are guaranteed to ignite your life. Now listen in and prepare to have your life ignited.
Hi, I'm Jenni Krippner, and I'm here today to share with you one of the most important things, the most important thing that you need to know in life, and that is spreading and sharing your faith with those around you. I'm going to start off with a story when I actually very first shared my faith, and this is how easy it is, you guys. I was in the 5th grade. I didn't always go to church. We weren't one of those families that went to church every single Sunday. But my mom took us to church off and on, and we'd have little spurts of time when we went to church. And I went to children's church, and in children's church, I usually was bored in children's church when I went. But this time we had this certain pastor, and he was teaching us memory verses. He was practicing memory verses back and forth. And he taught us a few memory verses, and it worked. I memorized them. So I'm in school, and as I'm in school, I have a really good friend. She's, on the chubby side, not Miss Popular, and she's being bullied. We grew up on the east side of my town, and it was a pretty rough neighborhood, and my friend, she was being bullied. At her bus stop, there was a gal that would pick on her and threaten her every time she got off the bus. And she came to me and she told me this story about this bully and how she was afraid. She said, can you ride the bus home with me because I'm afraid that I'm going to get beat up? And I said, Denise, I want you to know that there's a God that can protect you. And I found out about all of this at church, and there's this scripture that you can say. And if you say this scripture, he will protect you from getting bullied. And so Denise is like, okay, tell me the scripture. I said, just all day long, wherever you go, whatever you're doing. She says, I said, just say this scripture. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. That was my 5th grade knowledge of the Bible. I didn't know all the stories. I didn't know how to save a soul or preach the gospel, but I knew that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And so I didn't even know if you had to be a Christian for that to work, but I did know that that was a scripture. And I said, if you will say this scripture, God will save you from that girl. And so I didn't know if she would do it. And, I was just telling her the story. Well, she did it. And it was probably maybe 2 days later, she comes back to me and she says, Jenni, it worked. She says, just makes you want to run around in circles. She says, Jenni, I said the scripture. I said it I was on the bus. I knew that she was going to beat me up, but I kept saying, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. She said, I got off the bus and I don't know what happened, but suddenly my bully started being nice to me, and we actually became friends and walked home together. Now, years later, let me tell you about Denise. A lot of times you don't really know what happens when you plant a seed. Years later, I find her. She has a master's in ministry. She's married to a pastor, and her whole life is dedicated to serving the Lord. I mean, wow, what God can do in a person's life through a small little seed that is planted by a 5th grader. Anybody can do this. You guys, I am nothing special. The only thing that's different is that I'm hungry for God and I love him. If you just love God and if you're just hungry for him, it comes out of you all the time, wherever you are, and it inspires people. Let it show. Let it glow. Let that love for God come out of you. Don't suppress it. Don't hide it. It's not hard. You can do this. We have got to do this. We need to bring souls to Jesus. We've got to pull them out of the fire. We don't have to make it scripted. We don't have to make it methodic. We need to make it real. We have to be real. That's the only way it works. It's got to be authentic. So I challenge you guys to go out and to be real, to be authentic. Do not suppress your faith. Do not suppress your passion. Let it out. And I'll tell you what, passion is caught. It's not taught. So if you will go out and walk in passion, it will be caught. And you mark my words, you'll see it happen.
If you enjoyed today's episode, let us know. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to help us reach more listeners. Remember, sharing your faith ignites your faith. See you next time on the Ignite with Barry McGuire podcast.